Yeah.
Hello, baby. Okay, we start. Hi, everybody. This is Maxime, and this is Author.
Hello.
Hello. So, Author is my fiancé. He's the love of my life. But a few weeks ago, something happened. Right? He had to leave me for a while, and he had to go to China because he had to announce to his parents that he would get married with me. And as you can see, I am a dude, and so that's something he had to announce to his parents, and it was quite a big challenge. Can you take your cap? Thank you. And so a few weeks ago, I was very stressed, because he told me, "Oh, I would like to, we go to China because I need to let them go before we get married." That, this is going to happen, and I was a bit stressed, because I've heard about. I mean, no, I have not heard. Yes, at that moment I was reading stuff about conversion therapies, what they do in awful places, when somebody's gay and the family disagrees, they send this person to basically a camp so that people can re-educate this person. So I was a bit concerned because I'm not very familiar with China. I do not know his parents, so I was very stressed. And then he went there, and one day I was in my bed, like I was half sleeping because I had, there was a time difference between China and France, obviously. So I woke up. He was with his parents. He told me, I told them, and everything is okay. Do you want to talk to them? I was a bit surprised because it's not what I was expecting. He was a bit defeated when he left. He was like, "Oh, I hope it will be okay, but I'm not sure they will accept it." And he was a bit pessimistic. But apparently everything went very well because I talked to the parents online, obviously, because he was in China. But still, they were apparently very happy and enthusiastic about that. They ordered 2 kids, and
Ordered.
they also, I think they were quite friendly, and so I was very happy for him. I'm afraid I was not able to talk to them directly, because they speak Chinese and I don't speak Chinese. So the only thing I was able to say was "Wahan Gaoxing," which is a bit limited, right? Since then, since he came back from China, he did not tell me anything because he wanted to do this video, like it was the boot. We were been waiting for this moment of truth. So it's time for him to say it, to explain what happened, how it happened. So tell me everything, how it happened. Um, you know, when you left for China and arrived there, and you had to, find the good moment to tell them.
Yeah. That's the question?
That's the question.
Okay. Well, I think it was 2 days after I arrived in China. Well, one of the major purpose of the trip is to come out before the wedding, because I decided not to get married behind their back and live a secret life. Even though most Chinese gays did that, I don't want to be part of them. So I landed on China 12th of March. On 15th of March,
I have the dates.
yes, on 15th of March afternoon, we just had lunch together. Me, my mom, my dad, my sister were chatting around the dining table after lunch. It was really casual moments, to catch up and everything. And my sister, who knows everything about me, and she knows my mission to come out, she was giving me all this eye movement, like like blinking and to me and everything. So I said, "Hey, do you want some water?" So we went to the kitchen together, and she was asking me like, "Do you want to come out or not?" I'm like, "It's not as easy as you think, right?" And she told me, "I thought you're gonna come out the first day you arrive." I'm like,
God.
"Of course no. What if it's gonna cause a storm?"
the whole
Yeah, it will be. my whole stay would be devastated for them. So I thought, okay, let's have 2 days of peaceful time before I do it. And she said, you need to do it quick, something like that. And there's never a good moment.
Without thinking about it.
Yeah. I think the point she was making, there's never a good moment, right?
Yeah.
And back then I was planning to have my laser surgery of my eye. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do it after my laser surgery so I can play the vulnerable patient card, so they can be lenient, soft on me because I was a patient, whatever. But, then we went back to the dining table. And I thought about it. I think I'm going to start something talking about it. So I told my parents, I'm like, oh, my sister was like, hey, my brother has something to say. Yeah.
Really?
She cued me on that one. I was not really planning, but she really
No.
gave me this nudge, like a little push. She said, my brother has something to say. I'm like, okay, really, you want to do that? Okay, so I said, I know everyone has been really concerned about my personal life, because Chinese parents, they always do that. So, but before I update my status, I want to know what you think or your expectations or your wish for my personal life. So I asked my father, okay, Dad, you go first. So my father said something like, I want you to be happy. That's really something. I mean, in the beginning, I thought, he was just saying that. But when a reality comes, he may not accept that. So this is really something I thought about it, right? So I want you to be happy. And my sister, who caught that phrase, and she said, this is what you said, okay? You're not gonna regret what you said. Yeah, she wanted to keep him on promise. And she said, no matter what. Like she said, no matter what, like even though he doesn't want to get married, even though he doesn't want to get kids, you need to stick to what you said. My father said, yes, of course. Weirdly, by the way, my father then cited one of his friend. He said, oh, I have this friend, let's call him Liu. He has only one son who is living and studying abroad, working now abroad. And this friend of my father told my father, like, hey, I'm so worried about my son. He never have anything. I don't mind if he is gay or not. He can bring a guy if he likes. My father cited that example
Really?
to me.
Oh la la.
Exactly. Anyway, and then I turned to my mom and I said, Mom, it's your turn now. So my mom said something that, I just want to make sure that when you grow old, there is somebody who can take care of you. I think that's what her concern. It's a bit old and traditional. So I was telling her like, hey, well, the purpose of marriage is not to hire a servant, but I understand your point that she wants somebody to take care of me, especially when I'm abroad. Then, of course, I didn't ask my sister's opinion because we're in the same age and everything. So then I started my confession. And I said, okay, the truth is, well, I met someone that I think I really like. I've been knowing him for 3 years and a half.
Him?
Oh, well, in English, sorry, it says him, but in Chinese, it's all same pronunciation as ta. I've been knowing it for 3 years and a half. So it's not that obvious when you speak Chinese. Gender neutral pronunciation. Writing's different, by the way. So I met him 3 years and a half. I met it 3 years and a half ago. We've been together, been to a lot of ups and downs. And
This person.
Yeah, this person is now a associate professor in law, in PhD, whatever. So really highly educated. I think our values matches a lot. And I met him when he was nobody. I was nobody. I had no job, and we both had our really difficult times of lives. And then we were supporting each other. So, and I think it is the person. So my mom was really happy. She was like, okay, so you are dating someone. So can I ask? She was very polite as well. She said, can I ask what is this girl's nationality? Because she used this girl's nationality. I said, it is French. This person is 1 year older than me. He's very nice personality, blah blah blah. Except, it's not this girl, it's him. And I think I was really stable when I was speaking about all this. So I stopped talking, let them process the information. And she reacted really well. She said, "Oh, it almost feel like, at that moment, really almost feel like to me, she got the wrong change from the supermarket when the cashier hand her back the money. It's like, oh, there's a mistake," something like that. So I said, yes. She does not look surprised or angry or whatever or puzzled. She was like, "Oh, it's a guy." I said, "Yes, it's a guy." And now looking back, because I was facing my mom, my father was on my right hand side. I heard a sound like this, like he was tapping the table. It sounds like to me now. Thinking back, like he, like
I knew it.
yeah, you know what I said, something like that. So it sounds like it, okay. But back then I was not completely in the moment. I was completely forgetting everything. And my mom, and then I said, I see they have no reaction. My father had no reaction. My mom has no reaction. I continued. I said, okay, you probably have a lot of questions regarding homosexual marriage abroad and the kids' problem. And I said, well, first of all, homosexual marriage is widely accepted in Europe and in America, so that's not a problem. It's all legal. We have the same rights as a heterosexual marriage. For the kids, I also said that we want kids. I hope you agree, and we can do that through surrogacy, and it's not a problem with the modern technology. And then they were fine. They were completely fine, which was really surprising. Long time ago, I learned that when people receive bad news, including death announcement, like you have cancer, you're gonna die, people's emotion will go through 5 different phases. Rejection, number 1, then anger, number 2, then frustration, I think, then negotiation. There is like, oh, are you sure about this? Can we do that? Then finally accepting. So I really thought that it's gonna take years, because all the stories I heard in China, the coming out stories, it takes years of anger, fights, cold treatment, like they don't want to talk about it anymore. Sometimes really warm violence, to get over with it. But they just directly jump to the accepting stage. So I was really surprised. And back then I was really emotional, because that's where I started crying, to be honest, because this level of tolerance was not expected. Because my parents were not like highly educated people. They're like not having like college degree whatsoever back in these days in China, in the rural China. And this topic is a taboo in China, right? You don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. Even the law doesn't talk about it. It's even rolling backwards because people are criticizing it on official accounts, labeling it again as mental illnesses, something like that, which is a shame. I don't think they have the exposure to know this, to educate themselves on that. So, the fact they accepted without any context, background information, was a huge relief for me. It feels like something really in my back of my mind, a big giant stone finally fell on the ground and settled. And that's the whole story. I think I was really, really happy, by the way. Surprisingly, like really, really surprised. And then I told him, and I told my parents, like, hey, because we know it, and this guy, Maxime, I told him it's Maxime. Maxime also proposed to me last year, and we plan to get married in May. May 20th.
Second surprise.
Yes. So they were really happy for us, and they were thinking, okay, is it possible? I was also asking, the question is it possible to catch the visa, because the appointment for the visa, because I really thought they wouldn't accept it. I don't expect them to come, to be honest. And then they accepted. It's a bit too late to schedule for the visa, especially China just relieved the lockdown, and many, many people are applying for visa. It's just difficult to get appointment now. So they couldn't come. But knowing they have their best wishes for me for the wedding is something really important to me. Yes.
Oh. He's almost crying.
No.
He's very cute.
No.
By the way, we cannot see you very properly when you have your... So, yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
Okay, but then... So it was one moment, right? Yeah. But then I guess you stayed there for a few days afterwards. Yeah. And did, I don't know, other questions or other reactions came afterwards? Like, what? Regarding this issue, like, how is he, I don't know, how does it work, how to do babies, or these kind of things, you know? Technical things.
Well, I mean,
I guess the work. I mean, you did not mention that the last time you had seen them was in 2019, so a long time ago, right? So it was the first time in a while that you had the chance to meet and to discuss in person. Yeah. So I guess it might be that they had, I don't know, questions regarding your private life, or, you know, more questions, details, no? No, it was not the end of the discussion, was it?
Well, for the coming out, yes, right? The details part, like you mentioned, I explained to them how surrogacy works. Yeah.
Okay. And also, they figured out that your sister, she was aware, right? She knew. Yeah. And how did they...
They have no problem. They know that me and my sister are very close. Okay. Yeah, so since kids.
That's very cute.
Yeah. So.
Oh. And then at some point you had a big dinner, or big meal, I don't remember, with the whole family. Yeah. And he told me it's a bit weird, I will tell you later.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, after the coming out, we also agreed that this news
will remain secret.
Will remain between our close family and not to be extended to other family members, because they probably are not as open-minded as my parents, and also it doesn't really concern them. It can only be some talking stuff behind our back, which is quite annoying for my parents. I don't care if they talk, but my parents who lives in China, they do have these awarenesses of other people's comments, So yes, when I was back in my hometown and have a big dinner with my, grandma, cousins together, My grandma didn't ask about that, actually. And the other cousins, they were more interested in my life because we're kind of the same age. They don't really care about if I get married or not, or dating anyone. So that's pretty nice, to be honest. But right before I came back to Germany, my grandma was calling my mom. And my grandma was asking my mom, hey, how does my personal life look like? My mom said inexplicitly, like, oh, I believe he is dating someone, a foreigner. He doesn't want to talk about it because, come on, this foreigner doesn't speak Chinese. It's useless if even though you know it. He doesn't want to make you worried. But just so you know that my mom said, I believe he's dating someone. He's really happy about it. Something like that. To pass this topic. Yeah. And another big plan, not big plan, it's like, oh, people would be still interested in your marriage life. It seems like they want to talk about, gossip about you until you get married. My father said, well, it's okay when you have the baby, you bring the baby home, it will silence them, like just shut up and go back to your work, or go back to your life. Yeah, like, hey, my son is happy and has a baby, whatever, something like that.
Okay. Good. So he came back alive and happy.
Alive?
Yeah, it was unexpected.
What?
I was a bit concerned.
Why?
Yeah, I had a lot of anxiety when you left. I was
Did-
like, and no, it's because he was about to confess this and to have surgery, right? So I was very anxious because he was far away on the other side of the world, and I was a bit anxious because I could not do anything. But then everything went well. So, now we're in Gauching.
You're happy?
Hmm.
Yeah, great.
Good. Good baby.
Well, thank you very much for listening until now to hear the story about me coming out. And I hope it is somewhat helpful to you out there. It's just my philosophy. Many people persuaded me or advised me that, hey, Arthur, are you really sure you want to come out, especially for Chinese people in Chinese culture? And I said, I know it's going to be a huge news for my family. It's going to be one for me as well. But my philosophy of my life is, number one, I want to live to be true to myself. I don't want to live a fake life, like get married with a girl or whatever. That's gonna be irresponsible, both to me and to the other part of to the girl as well. Number two, I also believe that each and every person are on this life journey, and they are facing a lot of difficulties, and they need to conquer them, to face them, to grow. And this rule applies to everyone, including my parents. In Chinese culture, the hierarchy thing is really strong. So many people think, yeah, your parents are always right. You don't want to disturb them or make them worried. But I believe that, okay, the fact that they're maybe 20, 30 years older than me is not that they stopped growing. They need to face a lot of difficulties in their life as well. Sometimes the difficulties come from their own family, like, hey, my son is gay, and they need to accept it and grow out of it. It's a mutual thing. I'm growing. I feel stronger after I come out. I believe they feel more assured of me. Like, I'm responsible. I'm taking a lot of responsibility for my own life, and I did pretty well. And I know what I'm doing. So I think it's a very significant moment for me and for my parents. And that's a good one. That's turned out to be a good one. I know in many cases or in other cases it could be different, but I believe it is worth it. Not necessarily has to be a happy story, but any story, even though it's not a tragedy story or sad story, emotional story, it's all gonna be worth the time, the effort, the decision. Yeah. Yeah, that's it for my thought of why I have to come out.
Thank you. It's very cute.
Yeah.
It's a very cute story. I'm happy.
Maybe next time we can talk about your coming out story.
There was not much to say about that.
We'll see. Thank you for your time. Maybe see you next time.
See you next time. We love you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.